Okay, so let's go move to the second. I should say the third topic of the day. Um, so speaking of Steve Knight, who is just on fire right now. Okay, like I said, he's going to be doing the Star Wars project. This is him over there. There is now talks, and we were talking about Marvel just a few minutes ago. There are no talks. I think. Let me preface it by saying this: I love older movies, and when I say older movies, I mean 60s, 70s, you know, older movies. The Godfather, The Deer Hunter, all films like that. There are films, though, that, in my opinion, should never be touched, ever. They're off limits because they are so good. Game changers. Um, and this is one of the movies that I think, and look, I get remakes are fine. I'm really curious to see where this goes. And that's Vertigo. So anybody who's a film fan knows that Vertigo is one of Alfred Hitchcock's greatest films. Now, it wasn't his greatest film, of course, that would be Psycho. That is the one that everybody remembers. I mean, don't get me wrong, you've got The Birds, you've got Rear Window, but you also have Vertigo. So, according to Paramount, Robert Downey Jr. is in talks to remake and be the lead in Vertigo. If you're going to remake a movie, why not remake one of the most acclaimed movies ever? Paramount Pictures has preemptively acquired a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 classical psychological thriller Vertigo as a possible starring vehicle for Robert Downey Jr. The actor is producing the project and with his wife Susan Downey through their Team Downey production company, along with John Davis and John Fox via Davis Entertainment. Peaky Blinders, and this is where Steve Knight's going to come in, creator Steve Knight is set to write the script. Hot off the heels of his commitment to do an untitled Star Wars movie for Lucasfilm. Downey has kept low profile as an actor since the release of 2019's Endgame, which was one of the highest grossing movies ever, and 2020's Doolittle, which is not. He produced and appears in the documentary Senior about his father, which is set to appear this July in Christopher Nolan's historical epic and is set to appear in Oppenheimer, opposite Cillian Murphy. But otherwise, Downey Jr.'s dance card has remained remarkably open. Okay, the original Vertigo stars James Stewart as John Scotty Ferguson, a San Francisco police detective who retires due to a paralyzing fear of heights brought on by a severe case of vertigo. After he's hired to tail an acquaintance's wife, Madeline, played by Kim Novak, Scotty becomes obsessed with her, but he fears renders him powerless to save her when she climbs the tower of a Spanish mission and plunges to her death, and the things get truly strange. Okay, let's talk about this. I think that one of the things that is interesting, okay, is when you have um, remakes, because remakes are one of those things that is just it's it can always be done better, or you think they could be done better, and it's a new twist. I think, though, for what it is, Shakespeare, not Shakespeare. Why am I saying Shakespeare? Hitchcock. Um, it's like Shakespeare. Okay, it's good Shakespeare. Um, that being said, I think that it's one of those things where I'm fascinated, but I don't know if I want to see it. Not because I'm scared of heights or anything, but because I think you're always going to be compared to the original. Always. And that's going to be true of any remake you do. Because look, they're not going to be doing, unless they have a plan for them to do all of the Hitchcock movies, I don't see that happen. And that being said, I think you just leave well enough alone. I do. I think you leave well enough alone. And I think that it's one of those things that James Stewart, was an absolute legend. And I think that having a remake of Vertigo, I'm not too sure about. And I mean, we'll see. I mean, Steve Knight's got a lot of, he's going to be working for the next 5 years at least. Okay. He's going to be doing Star Wars. I will say one thing though. I do like the juxtaposition. Okay. You're going from Star Wars. Okay. You're going from Star Wars. Okay. To Vertigo. I mean, it's a 180-degree turn. So I'm really fascinated to see if they're actually going to do this. The other thing that fascinates me is this. You have all these actors and all these actresses and what they do after Marvel. So, I mean, before his untimely death, you had 21 Bridges by Chadwick Boseman, which the Russos produced. I liked it. It was predictable, but I liked it. You had um, I'm sorry, you had, so you not only had that, but then you had Scarlett Johansson, and she was supposed to be in this Nancy Meyers movie here, that is still up in the air. Netflix was they said no. There's a couple of different people that want to take it with a lower budget. Then, okay, um, you have, Robert Downey Jr. doesn't need the money. I mean, that's for sure. He doesn't need the money. Doolittle was, a complete bomb. So, but it's interesting to see what these actors and actresses do after the fact. But yeah, I think if this gets made, and there's a possibility it will, I think it'll be interesting. It will be very interesting. I'm happy for Steve Knight getting a ton of work because, I think he's going to be a good writer. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Star Wars series, though. What do you guys think? Do you like Alfred Hitchcock movies? If so, which ones do you like? Do you think they should be remaking Vertigo? If so, who would you actually get in to star? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to everybody.